Hey guys, this is the Fort Worth Glock Guy, and I wanted to do a video comparing these two knives, both by Northwoods, which is a knives ship free exclusive. This is the Fremont Jack, and this is the Michigan Jack. So if you notice, the blade shapes are very similar, which is why I kind of wanted to do this comparison. So with the Fremont Jack, you've got a washboard design, and it's got bolsters at either end, and you've got a beautiful blade shape on this with a nice swedge here. The Michigan Jack is slightly different. You've got the bolster only at one end. On this end, it's just bone all the way to the end. And you've got a easy opening notch. Just grab it right there. And as the name suggests, it's very easy opening. This one's easy opening as well. Just doesn't have the notch. Sticks up a little bit higher. Just pinch it right there and easy opening. They both have long pulls, but it's much easier just to grab it and pinch it open. So here's the comparison between the two. And after getting some use with both of these knives, I had someone ask me on Instagram which I like better. And my initial response was, I like the Fremont Jack better. What are you talking about? Then after getting some use out of it, I think I've kind of changed my opinion a little bit. So here's the comparison. As you can see, if I line these up, it really comes down to personal preference. The Michigan Jack is going to give you a little bit of a longer blade, as you can see. Okay? The Fremont is a little bit more of a stout blade. It's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit broader. So it's going to give you a little bit more toughness, I would say. So, depending on your intended use for these knives, might determine which one you might be interested in getting. Or you might just want to get both. They're both great little knives. Now here's what I've found each one excels at. This one is a much better slicer. And I don't know if that has to do with the thinness of the blade, or if it's just because it has a higher ground. But this one slices way better than the Fremont. Like if you're using this for slicing an apple, this one just slices through it very cleanly. And you can be very precise with it. I mean, you can get very razor thin slices with that. This one is a little bit thicker. The blade stock is thicker. The height is thicker. And it's got a thicker meat of the blade. So this one doesn't slice quite as well. Now it still cuts great. It just doesn't slice quite as well if you're comparing, doing a cut test between the two. What I've noticed, if I'm cutting cardboard, the Fremont will kind of bind up a little bit because as you're cutting, whatever you're cutting has to go out more to get around kind of the swedge of the blade. So this one, although it's a great cutter, doesn't slice quite as good as the Michigan Jack. The Michigan Jack is a little bit thinner blade stock, and it just slices a lot easier. Cutting, they're both great cutters. Having owned some Spydercos, this may be a very odd comparison, but I think it kind of describes the way that these cut. This is a Sage. This is a Techno. The Techno's got a lot thicker blade stock, great cutter, but not a great slicer. This one is more of the Sage 2. Great all-around knife. A little bit thinner blade material, great slicer, just overall a great design. I absolutely love this knife. This one is more like the Little Big Knife. It's kind of a bulldog. It's a little bit thicker blade stock, and I think it can tolerate a lot more. Like, this is stout in your hand, and this, if you were to compare it to a Spyderco, this would be the Techno. The Little Big Knife. A lot of ability. Thick blade stock. You could put a lot of abuse on this and it would take it like a champ. So depending on what you need, this would be more of the delicate blade. This is more of the workhorse, I would say, if that makes any kind of sense whatsoever. So anyways, they're both great knives. I've enjoyed having both of them in the collection. I've been enjoying using both of them. I've just noticed some differences between the two, which obviously they're different blades. So you would expect that. So Little Big Knife, tough little bulldog, nimble, great slicer, great cutter, just not quite as hard use. So just wanted to do that little comparison between these two. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Be happy to answer. 4th Clock Guy out.